What's going on, everybody? Brian from Heavy Drop Training here. Today we're going to talk about our inner rounds program. So our inner rounds program is a 2-week period that we have between rounds of heavy drop training. So we do 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 6 weeks on. So that 2-week period, we primarily are focused on our proprioceptive training, which is basically going to be an active recovery styled 2-week program. The primary thing that we focus on here is going to be the proprioceptive aspects, or the stabilization and balance that we have with our joints. All right, it's going to be something that's tied to type 1 muscle fibers. So we have 3 different types of skeletal muscle. Type 1 fibers are primarily postural. They're going to be slow acting. They're going to be running throughout your whole entire day. They don't take a lot of energy, and they're not going to wear out as fast. All right, that's why you can stand at a desk and relatively keep your posture, right? Or sit at a desk in that case sometimes too. The type 2 muscle fibers, that's going to be the skeletal muscle that's more associated with like the biceps, your eyes for eye blinking and stuff. Those are type 2B, and then you have type 2A muscle fibers, but they're primarily fast acting movements, things like that. At the same time, you can shift your muscles from being more predominantly type 1 to more predominantly type 2 and back and forth. And that's what training does for you. In this case, though, your postural muscles, you're probably not going to be working them out per se to get fast moving aspects out of them and turn them into type 2. But what we're going to try to do is basically take those joints that you have and your spinal column and all that stuff where it's more postural related. You're going to basically try to get those muscles to activate and twitch and actually build them up so they're stronger. So what happens is when you increase instability, a controlled state of instability, by the way, what you do is you make the joint have to react. And when the joint's moving, the muscles are adjusting on the fly as well. If you put your hand down on a flat surface and you do push-ups on it, it's a hard surface, your wrist joint, elbow joint, shoulder joint, your core, everything's going to be in a pretty planar movement, right? So you're going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to go up, you're going to go down. If we increase the instability by adding something like a foam pad, a Basu ball, or a Dyna disc, or something along those lines, you're going to have, your wrist is going to have to be adjusting. It's going to be sitting there going like this, trying to adjust on the fly to the instability. And when it's doing that, all the muscles in the forearm, all the muscles around the joint, all the fibers around the joint are all going to act on that. And what happens is you're going to build up the stability of that joint because you're creating an unstable environment that it's going to have to change so that you don't have injury. All right, same thing applies with the legs to the arms, right? So if you did something with a Basu ball, for instance, where you're standing on one foot and you're balancing and your muscles are going like crazy. If you've ever seen somebody do a Basu ball, one-legged stand, and you watch the ankle joint, it's going all over the place like this, all right? It's adjusting as that weight's shifting and things are changing. It has to make those adjustments. While it's doing that, you're basically putting that unstable environment there that the body's now going to react to and change those muscles around that area to strengthen that joint, all right? A strengthened joint or more stable joint is going to give you a less likely chance of getting injuries. If you go on our site, you'll actually see under our Proprioceptive Training Inner Rounds program, you'll see that there's actually a couple articles that we posted there. They're not our articles, but they're NIH granted funded articles and research projects that were done on soccer teams about ankle injuries and ACL tears. All right, you'll find that they talk about proprioceptive training and how there was a vast decrease in those injuries when tying in proprioceptive training for those players. There's many other papers out there you can find. Just look up proprioceptive training and put NIH in it, and you'll find a bunch of them. So the primary function that we're looking to do with this program is put your joints, put your body through a set of unstable environments that are going to allow you to become a better athlete. All right, so you're going to be able to handle heavier weights because your joints are going to be able to withstand heavier weights. You're going to be able to carry heavier weights because your joints are now stronger. You're not going to have as much knee pain. You're not going to have as much ankle pain. You're going to increase your mobility some even as you do this too, because you're going to find that those unstable environments are acting, all those muscles are actually twitching and they're stretching and they're changing. As that's happening, you're going to get a little bit of increased mobility. All right, it's not going to be a vast amount of mobility. This isn't a mobility program that we're putting out here, but you will gain some mobility. You're going to gain strength in it as well. All right. But the primary thing that we're focused on here is that you're going to end up having a safer environment that you can get into and not have injuries. All right. So part of the program that we do here is basically, or the breakdown of the program, I should say, is 2 weeks. So we have week 1, week 2. You're going to have 3 primary workouts. First workout is going to be basically something like upper body and core. The second workout of the week will be a upper body and lower body. The third workout of the week will be a lower body and a core. All right, so you're basically going to hit upper body twice in 1 week. You're going to hit lower body twice in 1 week, and you're going to hit core twice in 1 week. But it's going to be spanned out across that that 1 week. Each of those workouts is roughly 5 to 6 exercises. We start off with a green highlighted exercise, which is basically sort of a warm up slash, get the juices flowing type workout. We do recommend getting some cardio in, 10-15 minutes of cardio before doing any of your exercises. But it's sort of that gets the flow going, gets the muscles warmed up a little bit more. The last workout that you have is going to be what we call the burner. All right, the burner is the red highlighted workout. That's going to be the last one you do at the end of the actual workout. Typically, it's going to be a max reps, or it's going to be a max number of reps in a minute or 2 minutes or things like that. All right, so that's going to be the burner. All of those exercises will have each week a couple different ones, usually 2 to 3, maybe 4 out of those 5 to 6, that are going to be set up in a way that you can add proprioceptive training and instability. You can ramp it up. All right. So if you're doing, for instance, if it's push-ups, our video that we have for push-ups also has the instability added to it, where we add a foam pad, or we add a Basu ball, or we add a Dynadisc to increase that instability. All right. So once that's increased, you're going to be working more of that proprioceptive aspects of your body compared to just the body weight. Doesn't mean that you're not getting it with body weight. And if that's where you're at, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But if you find that, the body weight version of it isn't really doing it for you, and you feel like you're just doing a regular body weight exercise, add a foam pad, see how it goes. If that feels like that's still not enough, add the Basu ball. Ultimately, add the Dynadisc is probably the last thing I would add. And that would be, the most increased instability that we've seen. All right. So each of those exercises you can adjust as you go. All right. The nice thing too is our exercises are set up for reps to be 3 different options. You can do the lower end of the reps, which is, maybe 4 or 5 per set, or you can do the middle, which is maybe 10 to 12 per set, or you can do the max, which is going to be, 15 or 20 reps per set. You can choose whatever you want that works best for you. Again, this is not a smoke session that we're looking for. This is intended to be a good introduction to our program for heavy drop, or it's going to be a good active recovery session if you just came out of a round of heavy drop. All right. So there's those 3 primary workouts. Tied into that also, we have in-between days. So for instance, if you did a Monday, Wednesday, Friday for your workouts, those in-between days would be like a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. In-between days are going to always be roughly the same stuff. You're going to do a pre-training exercise. So for instance, it could be 2-minute push-ups, 2-minute sit-ups, 5 minutes of burpees, a slick run or a strict ruck, or a max plank hold. All right. So it's one of those things that you'll have in your in-betweens. All right. The other 2 things that are going to be listed on your program are going to be either you can choose between these 2. You can choose either to do 10 to 15 minutes on a balance board, all right, doing balance board work, or you can choose to do a crossover walk, which is 3 to 5 minutes of crossover walking. All right. Crossover walking works the ankle and the knee joint a lot. I do recommend, if you've had a severe knee injury, take it very slow with crossover walking. It is going to strain it some. It actually is a physical therapy method that is used to actually strengthen the knee joint after surgery. But in this case, we're using it for the exact same purpose, hopefully without the injury involved. All right. But if you have had injuries, it may feel a little off. So take it slow. Don't push it if it starts to hurt. All right. So that's going to be the in-between days. All right. So that would be 3 in between days, 3 primary workouts, and then lastly, there's a 3-mile ruck. You can do it anytime during the week. It's a leisure ruck. It's not intended for you to go out there and try to max out your time. You can if you want. It's a enjoy the scenery, bring some friends, have some fun, ruck 3 miles. Maybe it's up to a restaurant that you like or something like that. All right. So each week will be exactly that breakdown. All right. You can do it in any order you want. You can add everything up in one day if you want. Not saying it's a good idea, but people do it. But I would highly recommend going one day on for primary workouts, one day off, one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. And then I would throw the 3-mile ruck I would do, Saturday, Sunday on the weekends. That's how I would break down my programming if I was going to be doing it, which I am. But anyways, that's the breakdown of our inter-rounds program. If you have any questions, you can find us on clevelandarearuckingcrew.com. You can go there. You can email me at brian@clevelandarearuckingcrew.com or hdt@clevelandarearuckingcrew.com. Either one, I will respond to. And also you can just shoot us a message on YouTube or comment on the video or find us on Facebook. We're all over the place. So again, this is our inter-rounds program. We'll be doing another video about our heavy drop training program later on. And we'll also get videos of our nutrition programs and our yoga program, our yoga mobility program, I should say. So we'll have videos of those as well. But this is our first video out of our programs. Hopefully we'll see you in a round or inter-round or nutrition or yoga, whatever it may be. Hopefully we see you at something. All right. Have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you later.